All right, let's get rolling. 6:31, super dark out there still this morning, 28 degrees. Here's a look at First News, where it's fair, accurate. You get the damn truth. Brought to you by the good folks at Hardin Chevrolet. Court records show New York prosecutors charged the man with murder in the fatal shooting of the United Healthcare CEO, Luigi Nicholas Mangione, currently being held without bail, arrested and arraigned on gun, forgery, and other charges, expected to be extradited to New York eventually. It's unclear whether the 26-year-old has an attorney or not. Authorities said he was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, after a McDonald's customer noticed another patron who resembled that man in a security photo. Told employees there to call police. They did. When they stopped him, they found all kinds of evidence. His gun was still on him. Documents, papers of what he has done. They're still putting the case together, but pretty damning for Mangione after a week's search. By the way, the CEO of United Healthcare was buried yesterday in a private ceremony in Minnesota with his family. Syria's prime minister said most cabinet ministers are still at work after rebels overthrew President Assad. Some of the workers failed to return to their jobs. Meanwhile, streams of refugees are crossing back into Syria. Tens of thousands of prisoners were let out. They were prisoners under President Assad's orders. They were searching for loved ones. The place, so notorious for its horrors, has long been known as a slaughterhouse. After looking for signs of loved ones who disappeared years or decades ago, people in despair have now been roaming the streets looking for those loved ones to see if they still have survived. In the meantime, there's been some airstrikes on some of the Islamic State militants that are still in Syria. That's a message being sent to that group. Don't take advantage of the chaos. U.S. struck 75 ISIS targets in the Syrian desert over the weekend. Yeah, us, the U.S. We're shooting missiles at them there. U.S. has had troops in Syria for 10 years. Officials said while the group is vastly weaker, it still has thousands of militants here. By the way, the new president that they are put in charge is a former Al-Qaeda leader. But is there really former Al-Qaeda once you are Al-Qaeda? President-elect Trump's for our intelligence chief, Tulsi Gabbard, will make her case on Capitol Hill. The former Democrat is facing fresh scrutiny about her proximity to Russian ally Syria. Trump wants Gabbard to be director of national intelligence. Nearly 100 former national security officers have implored senators to hold a closed-door briefing on her work. But AP didn't give us how many senators and how many former national security people are supporting her. Now, did they? No, they did not. She is a person that has a great military background, ran for president as Democrat a few years ago. President Trump's second term comes with the specter of the world's richest man serving as a political enforcer. Listen to that. There's a feeling that Elon Musk not only supports Trump's agenda and his cabinet appointments, but is intent on seeing them through. See, you dumbasses, that's what most of the president's appointees do, no matter if it's Joe Biden, Obama, or Trump. They follow the president's agenda.
Great.
That's why they've been picked. Musk suggested on social media that he played a significant role in the primaries. Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy both said they are going to clean up government. And folks, they are serious about it. In the meantime, Joe Biden, who nobody knows what he is doing or where he is at, or even if he is still acting as president, yesterday decided to pick up the pace a little bit on all the money and billions in hardware being shipped over to the Ukraine so they can continue to go after Putin. He is rushing out billions more in military aid to Kiev. Yeah, that's right. Just think what he's done in the last few weeks, allowing them to use landmines now in the field, allowing them to use ballistic missiles from the U.S. that will get into Russia. The president-elect insisted in recent days that Russia and the Ukraine should reach a ceasefire, something that has never been talked about with Antony Blinken and Joe Biden in the Russia-Ukraine war. They've pushed Israel for a ceasefire, but they've never pushed for a ceasefire against Putin and continue to send billions. Yes, folks, The defense industrial complex continues to make billions of dollars off of this, and Joe Biden is funneling as much in there as he possibly can in his last 40 days. And then there's this. A Marine veteran who put an agitated subway rider on a chokehold has been acquitted in the man's death. Okay, first of all, the man was not an agitated subway rider. We all get agitated sometimes when we ride airplanes or, God, this is a rough flight. That's agitated. This man was threatening to kill everybody that was in that subway car.
Right.
That's more than agitated. Well, guess what? A Manhattan jury, Manhattan, liberal capital of the world, cleared Daniel Penny of negligent homicide charges. This came after the manslaughter charge was also dismissed. Jordan Neely's death became a prism of differing views about public safety. 26-year-old Penny gripped him around the neck, held him there. Defense said he was protecting fellow subway passengers. Subway passengers who were there testified on behalf of Penny, and yes, they were African Americans, folks, said they were threatened and thought this man was going to kill them all before they got off the subway car. President-elect Donald Trump said he would consider ending birthright citizenship if he gets into office. That means anybody born in the United States automatically becomes an American citizen. Trump and his supporters have argued it's abused and there should be tougher standards to become one. Others said it's a right that's enshrined by the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, and it would be difficult to overturn this, according to NBC, CNN, and all the rest of them, who, by the way, haven't mentioned that the 14th Amendment that was ratified in 1868 was opposed by every Democrat in Congress. Every one. They did not want to give citizenship for all black people in America. That's right. Check the voting records. Check the 13th, too, and the 15th. You'll be amazed of what you'll learn. A polygamous religious leader who claimed more than 20 spiritual wives, including 10 who were underage, faces decades in prison. And he should also see a psychiatrist, because anybody that would want more than one wife is freaking nuts anyway. Right, Mark?
Yes.
He's in trouble. Samuel Bateman, he's undergoing trial down in Phoenix. People in the news, rapper Jay-Z. He said the rape allegation made against him is part of an extortion attempt. The lawsuit alleges Jay-Z raped a minor with Sean Diddy Combs at an award show at an after party 25 years ago. The rapper denying the allegations, sued as part of a wave of sexual assault cases that have been levied against Combs as he awaits trial. It was amended Sunday now to name Jay-Z as the unnamed celebrity who participated in that assault during an MTV Video Music Awards after party in the year 2000. Jay-Z vehemently denying those claims. NVIDIA helped pull U.S. stock indexes down yesterday. The S&P 500 fell 0.6. The Dow Jones fell 0.5. NASDAQ down 0.6 yesterday. Stocks in Hong Kong jumped. Chinese leaders agreed on a moderately loose monetary policy. Prices for oil and gold rose following the ouster of Syria's leader. By the way, the Dow was down 240 points. World shares are mixed so far this morning in early trading. Omnicom is buying Interpublic Group. That's a stock deal. They had revenue combined of $26 billion. Do big advertising campaigns, Got Milk, Priceless, Because I'm Worth It for L'Oreal, those kind of things. They're joining forces. Boeing laid off hundreds of additional employees in Washington State, California as well. Planned cuts eventually reduced the company's workforce by 17,000 employees. 400 more Boeing employees were laid off in Washington, 500 in California. They have to reduce their workforce by 10%, trying to recover from financial and regulatory troubles. And not only that, the strike by the machinists who declared 40% pay increases. They can't pay it. So guess what? 17,000 of them are going to lose their jobs now because of those demands. The Biden administration gave approval of the sale of some oil and gas leases in Alaska. What? Yeah, leaving the door open for drilling in parts of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. The sale will be held next month, 2 weeks before he leaves office. Includes a fraction of the land total that was available. The 2017 law mandated lease sales in their coastal plain, not led to any oil drilling yet. It's unclear if the change will win approval. But I think Joe Biden knows that when the Trump administration gets in, they're going to open up that area again, so maybe they think they can take credit for some of the new drilling. It's the job of American Airlines Chief Operating Officer to make sure that the carrier's flights take off on time and fly safely during one of the busiest travel periods of the year. David Seymour, he oversees flight and airport operations for American Airlines. They expect 6,500 flights a day between now and New Year's Day. That's a lot. He's a West Point graduate, U.S. Army infantry officer. He's held a variety of their operations-related jobs until he was promoted to this current post in 2020. He was talked about managing these huge passenger numbers during the holidays and preventing people from getting on a plane before their boarding group is called. You may recall that they have now updated how that works, because in the past, if they now are boarding group 2, everybody from group 3 and group 4 runs on the plane anyway. Yes. Because what are you going to do?
Right.
Well, they've changed their policy now when you are boarding at airports, so cheaters beware. But he's in charge. 6,500 flights a day, and that's just American Airlines. And President Joe Biden designated a national monument in former Native American boarding school site in Pennsylvania. White House announced the creation now of the Carlisle Federal Indian Boarding School National Monument as he hosted a summit for tribal leaders. 900 tribal children died there. Schools operated for 150 years. Policies that created them were finally rejected in the 70s. The Carlisle site will now be the 7th national monument that Joe Biden has created. He's done more in the last 2 weeks than he did in his first 4 years, trying to get all this stuff put in place for his legacy. There's a couple others there that are still on the list too that could possibly be created before he leaves office. It's a 25-acre site in Pennsylvania managed by the Park Service anyway, and so now that has been dedicated as another national monument. And Oregon's Dylan Gabriel, Travis Hunter from Colorado, Boise State's Ashton Jonte, and Miami's Cam Ward have been announced as the Heisman Trophy finalists. That's interesting. Boise State has somebody as a Heisman Trophy finalist. I don't know if that's ever happened.
No, that kid's a stud.
Yeah, I don't ever remember that ever before, but they have a big ceremony and they could win the Heisman Trophy. So
playing on the blue turf just down the road from the Albertsons, it's got a bar.
Really?
Yeah.
There's 900 voters that vote for the Heisman Trophy winner, so we'll see what happens. Cat Country News Time is 6:46. We'll look at weather next.
More on college football in sports. Georgia's quarterback Carson Beck, he hurt his elbow in that last game when they were playing against Texas. Last play of the first half, he was trying to throw, and one of the defenders, he hit their helmet. And so he's icing it down, and good thing they have the bye, because they're the number 2 seed, and they'll get the winner of Indiana and Notre Dame. And he is a prospect to be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. So that could be big. Also, Georgia's punter hurt his non-kicking knee, and he's out for the season because he needs surgery. So
he hurt his non-kicking knee.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, that means they'll go for it probably a lot on 4th down.
Yeah.
39 degrees today, folks. Still cloudy, still breezy, he's still chilly. But actually, that's above average. Usually this time of year, around 37 for our highs. So we're going to be above average all week, 41 tomorrow, mid to upper 40s by the weekend. By the way, at Travis Hunter, who's up from Colorado, he goes both ways.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you north of town, that means he plays offense and defense.
Oh, he's one of them.
Yeah. So downtown 28 now. That's what's happening. Mark and Paul here together. Thanks for tuning into The Cat.